Three different stories here in conjunction with that stupid January 6th committee, which kind of has no point to this junction. It just seems to continue to fail over and over and over again. Okay, they keep trying to subpoena the world. They still want to get primetime slots out there to have these hearings for people who aren't going to be complying with the subpoenas, but I don't know what the fuck they're aiming for. And yeah, they really, really want to pin this on Trump, even though he's been investigated for that speech, which I've listened to it, I've read through it. Okay, we've done multiple videos on it, and there's nothing that you can point to as inciting language that was in any aspect of that. You have to really kink your neck, and you really have to twist the words in order to come out with something. But that's what the Democrats are doing. That's what they're trying to hang him on, but it's really not working. And there's a lot of different avenues that are out there, okay, and Trump's trying to exercise another one. So his attorneys cite immunity over January 6th lawsuit, saying speech was an official act. Okay, this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh God, Trump said something, and we need to throw everything at it in order to cover this up so you can't be exposed ever again. No. This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, that seems to fit the bill as well, and if we can use it as a way to just get this out of the fucking way, why not use it? Okay, he was still the president. Okay, he was still the president, January 6th, 2021. Right. It's such a bitch not to be able to say January 6th again, or anymore either. But yeah, he gave a speech in the official capacity of being the president of the United States. It was investigated thoroughly over and over again. And because he was the president, he has a certain level of protected speech under the, what amendment is that one again? Oh, right, the first one. And then again, being an elected official at that time also grants you other levels of immunity. So let's see what they're arguing here. Former President Donald Trump's attorneys on Monday argued in court that Trump cannot be sued for statements he made prior to the January 6th breach of the Capitol, as they were protected speech that he was acting within the scope of his official presidential duties. Trump's lawyer, Jesse Binnall, said during the 5-hour court hearing that in Washington, before U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta, that Trump was immune or shielded from 3 lawsuits by Democratic members of Congress and 2 police officers. Executive immunity must be broad. Yeah, exactly. Democratic lawmakers, including Banger, Eric Swalwell, and Jerry Nadler. Oh my God. Was somebody moving very slowly into Jerry Nadler's general direction? Or did they have like a stylist come in order to move his belt line down to his hips as opposed to his normal position around his collarbone? Oh, and 2 U.S. Capitol police officers filed civil lawsuits against Trump and others, including Trump Jr. and Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani, no longer his lawyer, but he was at the time, okay, arguing liability for injuries to police and lawmakers on January 6th. Can anybody cite any of those injuries to police officers? I don't know if any of it's been documented. It was very well filmed that day. It was very well photographed, and I don't know if we have anything to really back that stuff up, but okay. Binnall, however, argued that Trump was acting within his official right and is not responsible for any violence that ensued during the events that unfolded on January 6th. Yeah. No, it's been investigated several times over. He went through an entire fucking impeachment proceeding, and nothing was ever pinned to him. I don't know what you keep on fucking banging on about this stuff, but it's Eric Swalwell. He just sees a flat desk, and it reminds him of Fang from the back, and he just keeps on banging it. Breach took place during the joint session of Congress. Yeah. Mike Pence refusal, blah, blah, blah. There's never been an example of someone successfully being able to sue the president for something that happened during his term in office. But did you know that the Orange Man is really bad though? But absolute immunity of the president is very important indeed. And you don't want to overturn that now, do you, for something as so superfluous as this, now do you? Because Eric Swalwell might have cried in a bathroom a little bit, and Jerry Nadler was probably knocked off of that hill, and they still haven't been able to put him back together again. Sure would be a shame if you started to rip that stuff down, and then that gaffe machine who's currently sitting in the White House, if he could get sued for shit that he says, you really wouldn't want that now, would you? Joseph Sellers, one of the attorneys representing Swalwell suit, argued that Trump's statements were purely a private act. How so? I don't get this one. What he spoke about was a campaign issue seeking to secure an election. That sounds like it's in the purview of campaigning and being the president, okay? Being an elected official or seeking the office of an elected official. I'm just saying it's not exactly the strongest case you could be making. It is hard to conceive of a scenario other than the president traveling down to the Capitol himself and busting through the doors, but of course he did that through third-party agents through the crowd, which happened 20 minutes before his speech was, again, it's like we're just gaslighting the facts on this one, but cool, you do you. Judge Mata, an Obama appointee, as if that needed to be said, meanwhile challenged Trump's claims of absolute immunity during the lengthy hearing. No shit. Is there anything this president could say while president of the United States that could subject him to civil suits? Mata asked Binnell. Well, yeah, I think that there are fucking laws on the books that would say certain things, but he didn't, so. And nothing that he said that day would fall within that auspices, okay, stupid. Mehta also asked Binnell what he should do about the fact that the president didn't denounce the conduct immediately. Well, he did. I don't know. We could check those Twitter videos and those Facebook videos that are up there, but those social media platforms took down his accounts, so. I don't know. Asking whether for a plausibility standpoint, but again, he didn't incite anybody to do that stuff, so why would he have to denounce the actions of other people? Okay, it's just like I'm constantly asking him, do you denounce white supremacy? Okay, 3 minutes later, do you still denounce it? Can you denounce it now? Finally, will you? Whatever. But again, if they had anything to actually hold Trump accountable for, it would be on film, it would be on video. The entire speech that he made is videotaped, it's documented, it's been widely circulated, everybody has been able to see it, it has been clipped to fuck, it has been taken out of context in perpetuity for for a full fucking year at this point, okay? Nothing has been there, okay? You keep trying to bang on the exact same points over and over and over again, and it's not working, okay? It's just like all of those people that died that day at the Capitol. You're not addressing the one person who was actually shot dead that day. Whether or not it was a good shot is always just up for debate, but Michael Byrd, okay, the officer who shot Ashley Babbitt dead, isn't being charged with anything, and Ashley Babbitt's husband is never going to see justice because he's never going to have his day in court. It's just going to be civil suit after civil suit, which... Now, hopefully we see some kind of ruling on, but it's probably going to wait until these stupid committees are done, so probably a decade later he'll see some sort of restitution. But what about those other people that were said to die that day at the Capitol, like Officer Sicknick, right? Oh yeah, the officer who was down there who didn't get hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. He died of a stroke hours later off the scene in a completely unrelated event. Okay, fuck. A couple other people that died of a stroke, not even at the Capitol. Okay, another person whose medical condition, who we still don't have confirmation of, he died off site as well. And then the only one that was kind of questionable at the time, oh, she was trampled to death, and that happened there. And it's like, no, she actually died of an overdose. Fucking weird, huh? But we actually found some more video footage on this one. That's interesting. It was just unsealed, and why it was sealed to begin with is questionable. But it was unsealed at the end of December. And let's go in on this. Video sheds light on death of Roseanne Boyland at U.S. Capitol on January 6th. All right. Newly released video from the West Terrace tunnel from the Capitol provides more details on the collapse, beating, and death of Roseanne Boyland on January 6th. I thought she was trampled to death, and then I thought she overdosed. Weird. 3-hour video unsealed in late December in a January 6th federal criminal case shows that the 34-year-old Trump supporter entered the tunnel, was pushed back, fell out, and was struck by police officers. Oh, that's why the Capitol Hill Police Department wrapped up their investigation so quickly. Oh, okay. Before her lifeless body was dragged into the Capitol. Oh. Boylan's sister and a New York attorney have questioned the District of Columbia's medical examiner's findings that Boylan died of an overdose of a prescription medication she took for attention deficit hyperactive disorder. She OD'd on Ritalin, according to the medical examiner? Wait, what? Okay, this is fucking weird. Boylan, from Kennesaw, Georgia, traveled to Washington, which isn't that far away, all things considered, to the Save America rally at the Ellipse on January 6th and was seen on video entering the Capitol tunnel, walking next to conservative activist Philip Anderson, while bystanders continued filing in towards the double doors leading to the Capitol. Now, were those ones broken open, or were they being held open by the tour guides that were there? I'm not entirely sure. About 2.5 minutes later, police began pushing back the crowd. Oh, okay, cool. So they're like, no, only 100 people at a time. We got coup restrictions. Boyland is seen at one point looking down at her feet as a mass of humanity flows back towards the entrance. Less than 2 minutes after that, she disappears from view after falling. Police continue to push the crowd out of the tunnel, causing bodies to pile up on the stairs. We're not going to watch the video because I don't need to have my day ruined by something so tragic. A man wearing a blue cap and a jacket with a fur-trimmed hood points at the ground and pleads with the police to stop pushing. Oh, okay. Others in the crowd try to hold off the police despite signaling that police are down on the sidewalk. Despite the police make another push against the crowd, sending more bystanders down the stairs. Men trying to pull off people off the pile are doused with pepper spray. About 7 minutes after Boyland was stopped out of the tunnel, a man steps right in front of the police and shouts stop. He grabs an aluminum medical crutch off of the ground and holds out in a blocking motion. On the lower right edge of the tunnel arch, the video shows a Metropolitan Police Department officer repeatedly striking someone at ground level with a baton or large stick, trying to resuscitate her on the ground. Man, these fucking cops, dude. And body cam footage released in 2021 by the U.S. Department of Justice and cell phone videos posted on social media show that Boyland was hit by a police officer numerous times with what appears to be a small tree branch. Where the fuck do you get a tree branch? Or a walking stick? That would make a little bit more sense. Okay. Shortly after, the group of men carries Boyland to the spot. They must be strong because she wasn't tiny. On the sidewalk directly in front of the police line at the center of the tunnel entrance. Other videos show a bystander frantically performing CPR on Boyland, whose lips had turned purple. Another man wearing body armor with a patch that read sheriff on the front. I'm sure it was probably one of those official badges, right? Takes over CPR for a short time, but then is pulled away from Boyland. Police then grab the apparently deceased woman by the feet and drag her into the Capitol. Oh, great. So is there going to be any justice for her? Highly doubt it. The New York attorney who released the 3-hour surveillance video repeated his call for a special prosecutor to investigate what went on at the Capitol tunnel. The assessment is yes, she was killed by the police. Well, McBride originally called for the special prosecution after the 3-hour video showed that his client, Victoria C. White, was beaten by the police in the West Terrace Tunnel for over a 4-minute period on January 6th. The violence against White occurred just a few minutes before Boyland entered the tunnel. Our relentless pursuit for truth and justice requires a special prosecutor to investigate the brutal beating of Victoria White and the killing of Roseanne Boyland, who were both victims of police brutality on January 6th. But you know what? Wrong color, wrong political affiliation. No special prosecutor until, I don't know, 2022 at best, maybe. Who knows? This is so fucked, dude. The more that comes out about January 6th, okay, not from the committee because that's fucked in and of itself and they just keep on bitching. It's like, how can we pin this on Trump? It's like, you can't. You just got to reason with facts. It's like, no, we really don't want to. It's like, we get it. But the more video evidence and the more, like testimony under oath that comes out about this, the sketchier it becomes, okay? The more it really just kind of seems like a setup, honestly, because you got this Ray Epps fellow, okay? It sounds like a pretty standard name, but it also sounds like it could be something, okay? But then, like I said at the beginning of the first video of the day, there was another hearing that happened, okay? And this one was regarding leaders from the FBI and Ted Cruz, who, yeah, we all know he had that really stupid take January 6th, 2022, where it's like it was a domestic terrorist attack, but then he ended up walking it back, so you know what, whatever, okay. That's a strike against you, Ted. You're on probation right now. But he was asking the questions that we all need to know. How many glowies were involved with January 6th? And it looks like this Ray Epps character, if that is your real name, not fucking likely. And it even looks like on the day people were like, yeah, this guy seems a little bit sus, as you can tell by the subtitles that are there. So who is Ray Epps? The Department of Justice won't say, and their silence is deafening. Top federal law enforcement officials have declined to answer numerous questions about Ray Epps, the Arizona resident captured on video encouraging January 6 protesters to breach Capitol Hill. Wouldn't you think this is something that the January 6th committee would like to investigate? Get to the bottom of this? Nah, of course not. Controversy has surrounded Epps in recent months due to the questions about his possible connection to law enforcement, despite video evidence of him making repeated calls for action to go into the Capitol, not to cease action like what Alex Jones was doing, hopping on the top of a car, sturdy car by the way, with a bullhorn saying, "Don't go to the Capitol, don't. Very important, because a lot of other news outlets have selectively edited that clip to, I don't know, don't go into the Capitol. Imagine they took one word out of that. Which one did you think they did? Oh, right, yeah, in, no. But yeah, despite his repeated calls for actions, Epps has not been charged in relation to January 6th. Somebody so prominently videotaped hasn't been held accountable, and Merrick Garland said that there is no level that they won't go to, the Department of Justice will not go to prosecute everybody associated with January 6th that day. It's just weird how Ray Epps just hasn't come up in any of these charging documents. Very strange. At a January 11th Senate Judiciary Committee hearing to mark the one-year anniversary of the Capitol Hill riots, Senator Ted Cruz and Tom Cotton attempted to obtain answers about Epps. They weren't successful. They were, but they weren't. Let's see what I mean. Cruz asked the FBI's Assistant Director of National Security, Jill Sanborn. I know this is a different topic for another time, but is it one of those like big virtue signals that the Biden administration over and over and over again constantly puts women in charge? Like if you have one of these Republican senators or one of these Republican congressmen go and ask anybody questions, you can immediately say, oh, stop mansplaining, and oh, this is so misogynistic. I know it's an aside, but for fuck's sakes, every time that I read one of these things, it's just always one of these head honchos. It's just always a woman. I don't get it. I'm sure that they probably have all the accreditation that they need in order to be in that position, but for fuck's sake still. But back on target. Cruz asked her 10 questions about Epps and other potential undercover feds, none of which received substantial answers. Sanborn admitted that she is aware of Epps, but that she didn't have specific background for him. When Cruz asked whether Epps worked with the FBI, Sanborn declined to answer. Likewise for Cruz, when asked about whether federal informants participated in the riots, encouraged the riots, or removed barriers. I cannot answer that, Sanborn said to each query. I think that's as good as an affirmative answer, don't you think? Oh, there's certain things I can't mention. This is an ongoing investigation. Oh, really? Cruz pressed further. 5 seconds after Mr. Epps whispered to a person, that same person began forcibly tearing down barricades. Did Mr. Epps urge them to tear down the barricades? Similar to the other questions, I cannot answer that, Sanborn replies. After Cruz, it was Cotton's turn to take a crack at the issue. Cotton asked a similar line of questions, this time directed at Assistant Attorney General Matthew Olson. Hey, it's a dude, but he's probably a bitch. The head of DOJ's National Security Branch. Olson said he wasn't aware of any plainclothes officers among the January 6th crowd, and that he didn't know whether any undercover agents entered the Capitol. The lack of information irked Cotton. Yeah, considering you are at the head of the DOJ, you saying that, oh, I don't know for sure, it should be a simple yes or no. You're the person who should have personnel understanding. So again, your non-answer is in fact an answer. Your answers are all, I don't know. Did you prepare for this hearing? Did you not know what was happening before this morning? Said Cotton. Olson also said that he didn't have any information about Epps. Of course, weird, huh? The FBI and the DOJ have no information about this very videotaped, okay, very well photographed individual. Just nobody knows anything about him. He just magically appeared at the Capitol building. When pressed further, Olson said that he couldn't say how many rioters were arrested for crimes related to violence, or even name a single person from the government's list of most wanted Capitol Hill's rioters. Is this guy retarded? or is he just, willingly misinformed on the situation? This provoked further criticism from the Arkansas senator. Oh, he's getting heated on this one. But again, all of these Senate hearings, they're just theater. They never get to the bottom of anything. Nothing ever happens. This is a hearing to mark the 1-year anniversary of January 6th, and you can't even tell us how many people have been charged with crimes of violence. Would you go into a briefing with the Attorney General and not be able to answer such basic questions? I guess we're going to have to seek our answers elsewhere. This was not a stellar performance. Oh no, I'm sure he really took it to heart with that one. It's not like he wasn't coached to give those answers that he gave you there, Tom. Towards the end of the hearing, committee chair Senator Dick Durbin, Dick in the mouth Durbin, entered into the record a fact-checking article from PolitiFact. Oh, so you know it's true. Which says there's no evidence that Epps was a federal asset. Oh, thank God, it was PolitiFact to the rescue. So yeah, once again, these January 6th hearings, committees, commissions, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they're just around and around and around in the circle, okay? Until they can find something to pin on Trump, they will not give up. But any of these underlying mysterious deaths, never going to find anything criminal on those, okay? And we're never going to get proper Fed involvement information, just like what happened up there in Michigan with the attempted kidnapping plot that was magically thwarted, and so many Feds that ended up getting thumbed out and arrested. It's fucking weird how that shit happens. But now we're going to shift gears. We're going to get out of politics for a minute. Well, kind of, sort of, but we're going to shift countries, that's for certain, and shift vocations, okay? Not specifically political. We're going to shift into the sports aspect of what I like to cover. And yes, we're going to be talking about Novak Djokovic and the fact that he got a successful appeal, and then the spurg out surrounding that has been delicious. So with that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.